Let me set the scene for you all. Your mate sends you a screenshot message of a Facebook post, and all it says is limousine for sale with a phone number. No photos, no information, no price, no nothing. So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to ring the phone number, aren't you? So you ring them up, you find out it's not a scammer, and there actually is a limousine for sale. So then what do? Well, you arrange to meet the guy, don't you? So you meet the guy, you find out the car is real, and you find out the guy who owns it is a pretty decent bloke. He's a pensioner who just can't afford to restore the car how he wanted to. So what are you going to do? Why, you lowball him, of course. And to your surprise, he accepts it. So then what are you going to do? Why, you ring your mate and you organise to get the car transported to his yard to look after it. Then what happens? Well, you forget about it for about 3 months. So your mate rings and goes, "Oi, can you move your limousine, please?" So that's where we are today. We're here to move a limousine. This is Australia's cheapest limousine. G'day everyone, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Automotive Carnage. My name's DJ, and yes, that is right, we have brought Australia's cheapest limousine. All this beauty for 500 bucks. So today we're going to figure out how to change a water pump. We're going to figure out if it even runs and drives and works or whatnot. And to help us out, we've got a few of the boys with us, so I'll introduce you to them later on as we go along. But yeah, let's go around it now and find out why this is the cheapest limousine in Australia. This, that, all of that, this, and this. But, as you can see, the masterpiece of this whole car is the fact that it has the 5-litre Windsor V8. So, today's mission, as you just saw, we're going to pull off that water pump, we're going to change all the hoses, change the belts, we're going to bolt the transmission in because the transmission's unbolted for some reason. And then, yeah, hopefully we can drive it 400 kilometers home. Let's see how we go. So first thing obviously is to see if this thing even runs. Now, Nick and I played with the fuel pump and we did get it to run a few months ago, but it's been sitting for, as I say, a couple of months already now. So let's see if it's still good or not. No, apparently.
Try the other key.
Try the other key. Okay, that's new.
Try now. Nothing? Oh.
Nothing.
Yeah. Can you get your multimeter on the power?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Have you got an axle stand here at all?
Yes.
Do you want me to hold my end?
I'm going to see if I can secure this in so I'm not under here when this starts. I'm jumping to this signal terminal, aren't I?
Pretty sure, and then we just put the positive on the positive and away it should go.
Yeah, it should. Yeah. And if you put a switch in there or push button,
Yeah, that's it.
run it up to the dash, just key on, press the button, off it should go.
That's
Give me a second. Let me get out from under here. I don't really want to be under this car.
Look at this. I don't have to bend down.
Alright, hit it.
it. Key on.
Key's on.
So it's an immobilizer thing. It's kind of steel as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Dad, is it?
So yeah, we're going to the mobilizer issue. So we only just started, and that was all a bit anticlimactic. Last time we had this car running, it just turned the key, she was good to go. This time we've got full dash lights, everything. We can hear relays clicking, but it's just not cranking. So we just got underneath there, pulled the signal wire off the starter motor and hot wired it, and it does crank, which is really, really good. So obviously we've got an immobilizer issue or something, which is weird. I didn't think this car had an immobilizer, but there's some sort of funky, something stopping it from firing. So obviously it's cutting power to the starter and it is cutting power to the fuel. So obviously some sort of immobilizer thing. So the boys over here, we'll introduce you to everyone anyway. We got Nick, who's yard rat.
Thank you.
We got Tim and we got Woody. So they currently got the key apart and we're looking at a battery, are we?
Yeah.
A little tiny one?
Get it out without destroying this.
Yeah, so it's got a bit of a funky aftermarket key. So, oh no, it's actually a Ford key. There we go. So as they figure that out, we'll yeah, we might be down for a new battery, and we'll see what happens. So we can get this thing firing, and then we can fix the water pump.
Yeah, I love it when I'm right.
I'll give it some gas, see if we can get it going, mate.
Right. Is everything hooked up, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I've got to hold it in there.
I think there is still. And I'll get some spray. Yeah, mate. We're halfway there. Okay, status update. Nick found the problem. What was it? The thingy on the back of the ignition barrel?
Yeah. The whole wiring harness plastic thing had fell out of the back of the barrel basically. So it twisted slightly. So I put my thumb on it, spun it a little bit, and it made contact again. Okay. Job sorted. Common problem with these.
So now we've got it cranking off the key, which is fantastic. But I've only got aerosol. We don't have any starty bars or anything. It's firing on that, but it's not picking up the fuel. So now let's get it off the axle stand, get some more fuel for it, and see what happens. Well, you join us now about an hour later, and the proverbial has gone left real fast. The back of the ignition barrel is falling apart, so we have to jankily hold it in to even get the engine to crank. The engine does crank, but then we've got no fuel, and it turns out, by the looks of it, there's no fuel getting to the rail. So we think it's a blocked fuel filter, and we just are having trouble getting parts, because the other part we need is a thermostat housing. Let me show you the thermostat housing. So in the process of taking the water pump off, if you look down in here in our housing, yeah, you can see my finger. So it's one of those cases of we could put some kneaded on there, we could, you know, put some putty in there, and it would sort of work. But we've got to drive 400 something kilometers. No one in town has one of those. It's just getting a bit too hard now. So we've got the ignition barrel, we've got that. The water pump, some of the bolts are seized and they're pretty tight to the point where we're about to snap them. So we can't even take the water pump off. Then we realize that there's so much crud. Again, have a look in here. We didn't undo this. The hose just broke off at the water pump. So all that crud is going to be in the system. So who knows, you know, it's just getting too much. It's very, very hot, and it's all just getting a bit, yeah, too many things are going wrong. So you know what? We've got the trailer. Let's pull it on. Now, you may notice the limousine is rather long. Luckily, we have a big trailer. So what we're going to do is just make sure it is going to fit. So you're in the center there.
I'm going to go just past center.
Just past center. So we are 4.9 to 5.
So, worst case scenario.
There. Oh mate, we've got room to spare.
Is our nose going to hit the winch?
Oh, it's definitely going to hit the winch, but 5 meters is there.
So
We're good.
our wheels are just on.
We're getting this limo on this trailer.
Okay.
Let's do it. Today is turning out to be a Murphy's Law day. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. We go to winch the limo onto the trailer to find out the winch is broken after Woody and I just spent last week fixing it, make sure it all works, new wheel bearings, all that kind of stuff. Lo and behold, it's dead. So main reason being the cable's just burnt out. It is absolutely destroyed. So we had to hot wire it. So there we go.
Yeah. Alright, I'll go jump in the car. You guys there.
Yep. So let's give this a go.
You want to bring the tension up?
Ah, yep. I got the power. Look at it go. Are you guiding him? Yeehaw! I've never had that before. The car is so long.
Fuck with that.
Yeah. Let's go have a look.
Check the front of the trailer. Or something.
Alright.
Everyone stand on the back?
What happened?
Oh, it's caught on the bottom, but your back wheels were going to miss the ramps.
Oh, okay. So if you spare...
The pins out?
Yep.
So it should... we
I'll get
stand
there.
on it.
Yeah, you boys stand on the back.
Oh, you still could have got another foot of limousine on there. My limousine should be longer.
We got there. And we got there purely by the power of good mates. Thank you, everybody.
No worries, buddy.
Let's strap it down and get the hell out of here. Alright, as you can see, we have got the limousine home, and what an absolute ordeal that was trying to recover this vehicle. Now, the plan was to go out there with a bunch of mates, get the thing running and driving, and then drive it the 400 odd kilometers home on that day. Now, what could go wrong went wrong. The day was over 42 degrees, which was a lot hotter than we anticipated. And then every time we made a little bit of progress with the car, it would just fight back. And it was absolutely small job after small job after small job. It just got to a point where we had to can it and say, right, load onto the trailer, let's take it home. That way. So, having found out since then why I wasn't running properly, done a little bit of playing with it since it's been home, and the fuel pump was the wrong size fuel pump, and it wasn't installed correctly in the back. So it wasn't actually, although it was whirling and working, it wasn't able to pump the fuel into the fuel rail. So we've got a brand new fuel filter and fuel pump in there, we've got a brand new fuel filter, but we're still not running properly, and that has come down to the fuel pressure regulator. It's just cycling the fuel back into the tank, and it's not actually getting to the injectors. So again, you imagine if we persevered on the day in the 40 plus weather, it just would have been a nightmare trying to drive this thing home. Anyway, we're here at the shed now, we have the tools, we have the ability. Let's get it in there and figure out what's going on with that cooling system, what's going on with the fuel pressure regulator, and yeah, hopefully we can get it running nice and solidly. We just got the water pump off, and I really want to show you guys just how bad it was in here. I mean, look at the absolute junk. That's solid block of just gunk. I don't know what that is. Like, that's just a mixture of engine block and coolant and all sorts of crap. Anyway, so that's looking really bad. That's looking really bad. Unfortunately, 2 bolts were seized in, so they've snapped off. So we've got to try grab onto that and get that out somehow. And there's one in here that needs to be drilled out. So that's unfortunate, which is another reason why I was really worried about doing this out in the bush where we were. Started to pull the harmonic balancer off. This engine still has a really bad rock and roll. It's vibrations and out of balance. So we've got to find out, is it the harmonic balancer or is it the engine mount that needs to be replaced? So we just need to figure out how to pull this off now, but I've lost my pulley puller. So there's a mission at the moment to try find that. That's looking bad. That's still looking bad. There's my finger in there, so we're gonna get that off next. And yeah, so somehow we gotta flush the block, flush the radiator, and then maybe we'll have a good cooling system. Time for a bit of an in-depth update on the limousine progress. Unfortunately, because of the heat in the shed at the moment, my camera died and we lost all the time-lapse of what was going on. So let me run through what it is that we have been up to. As you can see, the engine is a lot more pulled apart than when you last seen it. And purely just to get down to the parts that we have to replace. So intake had to come off, so that we could get down to the fuel pressure regulator here. Yeah, the O-ring is a bit perished. It's, I don't know if how you can test if these are good or not, but there's a brand new one on the way. So that will take care of that. That should solve our fueling issues. So now with a new one of those, we should idle and we should be running a lot smoother. Next issue was the vibrations in the engine, absolutely atrocious. It could be the harmonic balancer on the front, or it could be the engine mounts. Now when you get an engine crane onto the engine and start lifting it, the engine starts moving before it lifts the car at the same time. So there's definitely something going on this side. This mount's not so bad, but if we've got to replace one, we might as well replace both. So as for that progress, we have pulled off the extractor or the factory headers. Off of this side, we have access down to the engine mount now in that deep dark hole there. Unfortunately, there's not much room to swing a spanner, so it's very, very stiff. We'll get back to that. We'll carry on with that soon. And then the harmonic balancer, well, I need a puller to get that off, and unfortunately I can't find mine, so I have to wait till I go back to work tomorrow and borrow the boss's one, and then that will be able to get that off and give it a proper visual inspection and see if that is the issue of our vibration. So if it's an engine mount problem, that's fine. There's a guy up the road who wrecks Falcons, and the 6-cylinder and the V8 mounts are exactly the same from what I'm told, so that shouldn't be too hard to get hold of that. If it's a harmonic balancer, unfortunately that is about $200 for a brand new one of those. Not sure I really trust the second-hand one, and the second-hand ones I do find happen to be about, you know, not much cheaper anyway. So might as well put a brand new one on there if we need a harmonic balancer. So that's where we're at today. We've got the engine bay as far as we really need to go and pulling parts off. Now it's just waiting for new parts to arrive and testing for, you know, those mounts or those harmonic balancer, which can't get done till tomorrow anyway. So that's where we'll leave that one for now. Yeah, I'll wait till tomorrow. You guys will see me in a couple of seconds, just like that. Well, it's been some time since the last clip that we just showed, and well, with the power of YouTube, a few things have been done. Let me show you what's been happening. Pretty much everything in the engine bay is back the way it's meant to be from the factory, and this is probably the most complete and cleanest this engine bay has probably looked for a very, very long time. Now, main culprit was our fuel pressure regulator. Down in there, we've got a nice new shiny one. To get to that, we had to take obviously all the intake manifold off, replace that. Really dumb design. It's Allen bolts that are upside down. It's just a horrible thing. Anyway, replace that. That's good. Our massive vibration when this thing was idling, we've fixed that with the power of a welder and a bolt. Yep, it turns out it was this engine mount that was down in here. You can't quite see it, sorry, because the headers are in the way. And what was happening was that engine mount was completely split, and I couldn't get it off, and really I just got a bolt and welded it together, and I have to thank my wife for that idea. Front end cooling system is completely rebuilt, so we've got a new thermostat housing. We don't have a thermostat in there at the moment because I want it to flow so that we can wash out all the gunk that's built up inside the engine. So yeah, we've just got plain water in there. We'll dump all that once it's run for a little bit. New thermostat housing, new water pump, new belt, all new hoses. It's looking really, really nice in there. The next thing is, we've got constant fuel. We've got rid of the vibration. Let's take this thing for a drive and see how it actually goes. There we go. Here we are. Australia's cheapest limousine. Let's see what happens. Oh, it does that too, as well. It doesn't want to start. It's a BCM problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it on start. Give it a second. Yep. There we go. We still need to get some clean fuel in this thing. So yeah, you got to give the old BCM a bit of a whack to get it started sometimes. Now what used to happen is you put it into gear and it'll just bog out and die. But now we've got good fuel pressure, so we are good to go. We did lose quite a lot of transmission fluid last night because the radio wasn't in, and we had to test run it, so we lost heaps all over the floor. So I take my foot off the brake, we should go backwards. Or we'll just die. That's not very good. Let's give it a bit more herbs. Well, it's going to be temperamental. Yeah, I reckon we still need some good clean fuel in this thing. There we go. Oh, no, this way. thing is extremely long. Very awkward to drive. And there's no mirrors. Here we go. We're out of the shed. It's sounding healthy, so that's a good start. Alright, can we get into drive? Yep. No. Oh, we still have a vibration. That's not good. And we still have fuel issues. This is really not good. This is kind of like everything I've done last night was for nothing. So that's not good. Okay, slight update. We just put 20 litres of 98 in it to try bring the octane up of the crap varnish that has been sitting in there. So yeah, let's start up now and see if it's any better. Hopefully we can actually put our foot down. It's starting a lot nicer. Still a bit of a vibration. We'll just call it the massage function of the car. So, into drive. Hasn't died. Oh yeah. You can actually give it a boot full now. Excellent. I love it when it's a simple fix. Oh, well, the transmission's not happy. They're around the corner here. Transmission's really not happy. It's not holding into gear, so down into second. Oh, is it? I can't see. That's third. There we go. Into second. See if it holds second. Nope. Okay. I wonder if the torque converter is our issue. Anyway, you okay back there? Sweet. You know we've got to test it, eh? You know we've got to test it. See if it drifts. Holding on? Alright, let's see how this thing can go sideways. Let's go to the first one, eh? Oh! Yes, it does. So as you can see, she slides, takes a little bit, but it gets there eventually. Getting that rear end out is quite tricky because it's so far behind the rest of the car. The pendulum point is weird. Anyway, as you can see now, this engine is rocking quite a bit. So that's what we're going to find out next. I don't know if we bother trying to find it or not. But ultimately what we're going to be doing with this limo, we're not going all that fast. I don't know, we might look into it, we might not. What we do have to do though, is put the brand new brakes on, and once the brakes are on, let's go into the racetrack and see what I can do around the track. Now, brakes. In my opinion, when it comes to modifying, restoring, reviving, doing what you do with vehicles, brand new brakes and brand new suspension are very, very important. I mean, what's the point in building a 500 horsepower beast of a vehicle if you can't pull up in time and you can't turn corners? Well, you end up in trees, you end up in ditches, and you end up in all sorts of bad situations. So when Best Brakes Australia reached out to me and said, we love what you're doing on the channel, we want to be a part of it, I said, you know what, that sounds bloody awesome. So they've hooked us up with brand new rotors, brand new pads, brand new hoses for the old limousine. What's really cool about Best Brakes Australia is that they specialize in all that kind of hard to get stuff that is often forgotten when you're overhauling your brakes. So drum brake hardware, handbrake adjusters, slide pins, caliper overhaul kits, seals, all that kind of stuff that often gets overlooked because it doesn't come with, you know, the rotors or the drums or the big major components. These guys specialize in getting it. And they specialize too in that older stuff. So the old Falcons, the old Holdens, Valiants, anything that you have, that you drive, has wheels and has brakes, these guys are going to be able to get the brake components for you. So Best Brakes Australia, thank you so much for jumping on board. And as an added bonus to you wonderful people who watch this awesome channel, is they've given you a discount code on checkout. So if you use the word Carnage with a K, you will get 10% off your first order. So I'll put a link in the description below. Jump on their website, give them a call. If they don't have it on the website, I highly recommend you give them a call. They've got a very knowledgeable team and they can get you what you need. And with 10% off with the code Carnage, you can't lose. So get over to Best Brakes Australia, hit them up, tell them I sent you. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for sponsoring this build. So with saying that, let's get these parts in so we can get this limousine around the track and see what happens. With the power of YouTube, Australia's cheapest limousine is done, dusted and ready for its Automotive Carnage racetrack debut. We have done a lot of work to this car to get it to where it is now, and there is so much more that has been done than what we initially thought when we first picked this car up. Initially, we thought they were going to be able to get up there, rebuild the cooling system, jump in and drive away. And unfortunately, that is not the case. We've had to rebuild the cooling system, weld the engine mounts in, fix the exhaust. I think the axles and the diff are broken. There's just so much going on in this car. All the tires are dry rotted. There is so much going wrong with this car that I'm really glad that we actually didn't drive it home the 400 kilometers from where it was. Now, what is happening next to this car? Well, I promised you that we're going to get around the racetrack, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. She's a big old girl. I'm not sure how well it's going to go around the corners, but we'll give it a good crack and see if we can get it out, hanging out sideways. But yeah, I think let's end the video here and sign off with a fantastic drift around the track. It's also getting its final inspection, apparently. You right there? Does it pass? Does it work? Is it okay? Is it tasty? Have we done a good job, Moon? No, you cannot eat my car. Please don't eat my car. It's already broken enough. So I think we might have just killed it, which I mean is to be expected when that cooling system is probably still full of junk, and we're trying to do drifties out here on the track. Let me start this up. It started sounding very metallic. That might just be a pulley, that's okay. Either way, I think we'll play it safe. We'll leave it here for the night, let it cool down. The exhaust has fallen off as well, so we've got to weld that back up. And you know what? I think there's a bit more we can do to this old limo. So join us next week, where not only do we fix the small little issues that we've just created for ourselves, but I got a few ideas. And there's a special event that's coming up that I think this limo is absolutely meant to go to. So join us next week on Automotive Carnage. We'll catch you then. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.